Welcome back everyone, it's TheNepKing here and welcome to my first video of the Neptunia Facts 101 series. In this series, I'll be covering facts about the Neptunia franchise that you might haven't heard about. For any of those who are new to the franchise, Neptunia is a franchise developed by Idea Factory and Compile Heart, which began on August 19th, 2010 with the release of the first Hyperdimension Neptunia game in Japan. This franchise offers a variety of video games with a mainline and many spin-off games. They also have anime, which was made by David Production, and they also have manga. You guys are in for a special treat for watching the video, so without further ado, let's get started for the 5 facts. Enjoy, my viewers. Number 5. Most characters in the series are referenced from other game developers and series. If you have been watching my gameplay videos a lot, you would have noticed that I mention each developer and companies when I meet up with a maker characters such as IF, Compa, and Falcon. That's because there are a whole bunch of characters in the Neptunia franchise that are referenced from other game developers, companies, and consoles, including the ones for Neptunia, which are Idea Factory and Compile Heart if you have watched my gameplay videos. If you have watched my first episode of Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 1, you would have seen the 4 nations of game industry that were based off the consoles, whereas Last Station based on PlayStation, Loe is based on Wii, Leanbox is based on Xbox, and PlanepTune is based on an unreleased console called TheNepKing. Other than those, there are a whole lot more on other Neptunia games, such as Tamsoft, Sega Saturn, Dreamcast, Bandai Namco, Konami, CAPCOM, Square Enix, Sword Art Online, and much more. Number 4. Did you know that Neptune was originally not going to be the main protagonist, and it was actually going to be Noire that was planned to become the protagonist of the series? If you're currently a Neptunia fan, or should I call Nepers, we all know that Neptune is the protagonist of the franchise. Like, come on, her name is pretty easy to give away that she is the protagonist, as it sounds similar. Since Neptune's name is similar to Neptunia, does that mean Neptunia has always been planned to become the protagonist from the beginning? Well, if that's what you think, you're actually wrong. It was actually Noire that was originally planned to become the protagonist. The reason why it's believed that Noire was originally planned to become the protagonist as the main original games, which were Hyperdimension Neptunia, Hyperdimension Neptunia Mark II, and Hyperdimension Neptunia Victory, which were before the remake into Rebirth games. They were only available on PlayStation 3, and Noire is based on PlayStation, so that's why we see that Noire would become the protagonist in this case, rather than Neptune from what we have today as the protagonist of the series or franchise. Number 3. Noire was originally going to be red, and Blanc was originally going to be blue. If French is your main language, or you're good at French, maybe for some people who know some basic French words, you would notice that some characters' names are French words mainly for colors, such as Noir, Blanc, and Bird, which means black, white, and green. Know that black usually uses Noir without the E in French, but Noir with the E is a feminine term, and since Noire is a girl, it uses the feminine term for black. in French. That's why Noir is Black Heart, Blanc is White Heart, and Vert is Green Heart. And also, Histoire is history in French, which is why Histoire records the history of game industry. Anyways, let's get back on topic. Did you know that Noir was originally going to be red and Blanc was originally going to be blue? From what I've seen in Sunako's art concepts, I actually find that interesting and weird at the same time. If Blanc is blue and if Noir is red, as Blanc means white and Noir means black in French, though it would be interesting to see them in those colors. Because Noir in red would remind me of Katori Itsuka from Data Live, who is also designed by Sunako, and Blanc in blue reminds me of another YouTuber who's Jared Gaming, as his OC is Blanc in blue, so I wonder if his OC was actually based on one of the art concepts of Blanc. Number 2. The Dogus are actually based off the slimes in Dragon Quest. If you play any Neptunia games, I'm pretty sure you would recognize this monster, which is a Dogu. These cute slimy dogs are iconic in the Neptunia franchise, as they have been in many Neptunia games, including the Rebirth, mainline, and spin-off games. They are usually the first monster you combat in Neptunia if you start with Rebirth 1 or 2 Sisters Generation of Hyperdimension Neptunia. There are a lot of variations of these monsters, ranging from normal Dogu, red Dogu, metal Dogu, jellyfish Dogu, and giant Dogu. Yikes! Did you know these Dogu were actually based on the slimes from the Dragon Quest franchise? These slime enemy types are common in JRPG games like Neptunia and Dragon Quest, though these Dogus do also remind me of the slimes that are found in Maple's story. Let me know if I should make a dedicated video of Dogu in the comments below. Before we get to number 1, if you enjoy watching my Neptunia Facts 101 series, consider subscribing and sharing this channel to others, as there will be more of these types of videos in the future. Now moving on. Okay, this is something that I was very shocked to hear about Neptunia. In this one specific game from this franchise, this is probably gonna be the most shocking Neptunia fact in the Neptunia Facts 101 series. Are you ready? Number 1. Mark II of Hyperdimension Neptunia was originally going to receive the AO rating. Hyperdimension Neptunia Mark II was actually originally going to be given the AO rating by the ESRB, which stands for Entertainment Software Rating Board. The reason why I find this so shocking is that all Neptunia games are given the T rating. If you are very experienced with the franchise games, or if you have a huge collection of Neptunia games like what Yellow Super Nintendo has, you would have noticed that Part 2 is the only game in the franchise to have the M rating due to its content. That is thanks to the part where CFW Trick wants to link ROM and RAM, also known as White Sisters, which are the CPU candidates of the Wii, and the Conquest ending path, which is pretty similar to the Genocide of Undertale, where it has the darkest scene in the franchise, hence it might be too strong for use as well. So think Netgear as Terra this path. However, in Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 2 Sisters Generation, which I am currently playing, the game has received the T rating, which all Neptunia games received. if NISA or Nippon Ichi Software never made any changes to the game. This game would have been rated AO, which means there would be a lot of restrictions on which platform it can be released, as consoles such as Nintendo prohibits games with this rating due to extreme content. So this game would most likely be available on PC only, like the other AO rated games. This game wouldn't even be allowed to be streamed on Twitch as well. And this is literally the most shocking fact I have discovered for Neptunia, and probably even for my Neptunia Facts 101 series. I would like to thank everyone for watching my first video of my Neptunia Facts 101 series. If you enjoy it, there will be more of these types of videos coming in the future. So if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and share this channel to others. See you everybody!